Imagine this. It's 1946 and you are a farmer in India. You wake up at 4 a.m., you milk your cattle with your own hands, you walk 10 kilometers carrying that milk to the city. And when you finally reach there, exhausted, sweating, hoping to feed your family, a man in a suit look at your milk and say, I will pay 2 annas per liter. You know it's worth 10 annas, but you have no choice because he controls everything. This was India, where farmers feed the nation, but their own children slept hungry. Where milk is spoiled on roads because there was no way to store it. Where 90% of the money went into the pockets of middlemen who never touched a single cow. But then something happened, something that would shake the entire system. One angry night, one small village, one decision, and one man who never wanted to be in the first place. This is not just a story of Amul, this is the story of the greatest revenge in the Indian business history. A revenge so powerful, it turned India from a milk-starving nation into the #1 milk producer in the entire world. Stay with me, because what you are about to hear will blow your mind. So let's get started. Let me take you back to 1940s India. A small village called Kaira in Gujarat. Farmers here owned cattle, hundreds of cattle, and they produced milk every single day. But here's the crazy part. Their own children could not drink it. Why? Because a company called Polshan Dairy controlled everything. Polshan Dairy had a contract with the British government, which is only they could supply milk to Mumbai. They set the prices. Whatever they wanted to pay, farmers had to accept. And if your milk is spoiled on the road, your problem. If they rejected it, your loss. And they had to pay you. Maybe after 15 days, maybe never. Farmers were earning just 2 to 3 annas per liter, but Polshan sold the same milk in cities for 10 to 12 annas. Where did the rest money go? Into the pockets of middlemen, contractors, and the company owners. The people who never wake up at 4 a.m., never fed a cow, and never walked under the sun. And if you think that's bad, wait. During the monsoon season, milk would spoil. Because there was no refrigerator, no storage, farmers would watch liters of milk go to waste right in front of their eyes. Their hard work, their hope, their children's nutrition, all wasted. But, on one night in 1946, something changed. A group of farmers gathered in the darkness, lantern in their hands, frustration in their hearts. And one of them said the word that would spark a revolution. We give the milk, they take the money. How long will this continue? Another farmer stood up. His name was Tribhuvan Das Patel. He looked at everyone and said, what if we own the dairy? What if we control the prices? And what if we become our own masters? The room went silent. Then slowly one hand rose, then another. And that night they made a decision. No more middlemen, no more exploitation. They would build their own cooperative dairy, owned by farmers, run by farmers, and for farmers. But there was one problem. They had anger, they had unity, they had courage, but they did not have the one thing they desperately needed. An engineer who could actually build a dairy. And that's when fate brought them the most unlikely hero. A man who did not even want to be in this village. Anand railway station. A young man stepped off the train. His name Verghese Kurian. A 28 years old mechanical engineer trained in America. He was furious. Kurian had won a government scholarship to study in America. He learned dairy engineering at Michigan State University. But here's the catch. The Indian government had warned. If they had paid for your education, you had to work for them for a few years. And they posted Kurian to a tiny experimental dairy in Anand. Middle of nowhere, no fancy lab, no equipment, just a broken machine and buffaloes. Kurian looked around and thought, what have I done to deserve this? He wanted to leave, complete his bond quickly, go back to a big city, and maybe even return to America. But then, he met Tribhuvan Das Patel. Tribhuvan Das took Kurian to the dairy, showed him the struggling farmers, the spoiled milk, the broken dreams, and he said something that changed everything. We don't need your pity, Mr. Korean. We need your skill. So help us or leave, but don't just watch us to fail. Korean stood there, and in that moment, something inside him shifted. Maybe it was the determination of Tiruvambanda's eyes, maybe it was the sight of farmers who refused to give up, maybe it was the challenge. But that day, Korean made a decision. He would not just complete his bond and leave, he would build something nobody had ever built before. He rolled up his sleeves and started fixing broken machines with his own hands, learned Gujarati from the farmers, ate with them, sat with them, understood their pain, and slowly, brick by brick, idea by idea, they started building India's first farmer-owned dairy cooperative. But here's where it gets interested. Building a dairy was easy. The real war, that was about to begin. Because the middlemen, the contractors, the Polshan dairy, they were not going to let this happen without a fight. In 1950s, the cooperative dairy was growing. Farmers from nearby villages started joining, hundreds become thousands. And Korean and his team set up milk collection centers, built cold storage, and created a distribution network. For the first time, farmers were getting fair prices. Paid daily, no middleman, no cheating. Everything was going perfectly until the attack began. One night, a milk truck was set on fire, burned completely. Next week, another truck, then another. Farmers starting receiving threats. Leave the cooperative or face consequences. Some were beaten, some had their cattle poisoned. The middleman had one goal: destroy this movement before it spread. And here's the most dangerous movement. Polshan Dairy went to the government. They had connections, they had money, they had power. They said, this cooperative is disrupting business, shut it down. The pressure was massive. Even some farmers started getting scared. Maybe we should stop. Maybe this is too dangerous. But Korean stood firm. He called a meeting, hundreds of farmers gathered, and he said something legendary. They can burn our trucks, they can threaten our families, they can use their power. But they cannot stop an idea whose time has come. We are not just fighting for milk. We are fighting for our dignity, our freedom, our future. And I promise you this, we will win. The farmers roared, they stood together, and Korean, he went into the beast mode. He organized the farmers military style, 24-hour security on trucks, multiple collection routes so attack could not stop everything, legal team to fight in court, direct meeting with government officials, and press coverage to expose the exploitation. Month after month, battle after battle, and slowly, they started winning. More villages joined, more farmers believed, and then came the moment that changed everything. The Bombay Milk Scheme contract was up for renewal. Polshan Dairy had held it for decades, but this time the government had a choice. Support the exploitative company or support the farmers cooperative, and they chose the cooperative. Polshan Dairy lost the contract, the middlemen lost their power, and the farmers, they become the owners of India's dairy industry. But this was just the beginning. Because what came next would make India a global dairy superpower. The cooperative needed a name and identity, so they called a meeting. Farmers, engineers, leaders, all brainstorming, and someone suggested Anand Milk Union Limited. They wrote the initials on a blackboard, AMUL, Amul. And just like that, a legend was born. But our name was not enough. They needed something more. Something that people would remember. Something that would make Amul iconic. That's when they hired a brilliant ad agency. And in 1966, they created the Amul Girl. A little girl with twinkling eyes, a red dress with white polka dots, and a mischievous smile. She became the face of Amul. But here's the genius part. The Amul Girl did not just sell butters, she commented on India. Politics, sports, Bollywood, social issues, with clever wordplay, with humor, with sass. When a politician made a controversial statement, Amul Girl had a pun. When India won a cricket match, Amul Girl celebrated. When anything happened in the country, people waited to see what will Amul say. She became more than an advertisement, and she became a cultural icon. But while the marketing was brilliant, The real revolution was happening on the ground. Because Korean had a vision bigger than just Anand. He wanted to transform the entire country. And that vision had a name, Operation Flood. It's the 1970s. India still import milk powder from other countries. We are still dependent. So Korean thought, why should India beg for milk? We have more cattle than any other nation. So he launched the most ambitious dairy program in the human history. Here's what Operation Flood did. Connect 18,000 villages to modern dairies, build milk processing plant across India, and create a national milk grid. Milk could now travel from any village to any city. They built refrigerator trucks, milk tankers, chilling centers in remote villages, cattle feed factories, and veterinary services. And the result? In 1970, India produced 21 million tons of milk. And by the 1996, India produced 69 million tons of milk. And today, 230 million tons of milk. India is now the #1 milk producer in the entire world. Bigger than the USA, bigger than China, bigger than any nation. And 70% of that milk still come from the small farmers. Korean did not just build a business, he built an ecosystem, a movement, and a way of life. He proved that when you put people over profit, when you give power to the powerless, when you trust the farmers, you don't just change one village, you change an entire nation. Let me tell you where Amul stands today. 3.6 million farmers are the part of Amul Cooperative. That's more than the population of many countries. Every single day they collect milk from 18,000 plus villages, process it, package it and deliver it. From the remotest village in Gujarat to your breakfast table. And here's the most beautiful part. Amul is not owned by a billionaire, not controlled by a corporation, and not listed on the stock market. It's owned by the farmers of India. The same farmers who were once exploited, powerless and invisible, but today they are the owner of the India's biggest dairy brand. I want you to imagine something. A young girl in a village in Gujarat, her father is part of the Amul Cooperative. Every morning he delivers milk, get paid fairly on time. Because of that income, she goes to school, get an education, dreams of becoming a doctor. That's not just a story, that's happening in millions of homes across India. Amul did not just sell milk, it sold dignity, hope and opportunity. And Verghese Korean, the man who never wanted to be in Anand, he spent his entire life there. He never took a salary from Amul, never owned shares and never wanted personal profit. Korean passed away in 2012, but his legacy, it feeds India every single day. Every time you spread Amul butter on your bread, every time you see the Amul girls smile, and every time you drink that glass of milk, remember, this is not just a product, it's a promise kept. A promise made by farmers in 1946, a promise that said, we will not bow down, we will fight and we will win. And they did. So here's the final question. What's the real lesson from Amul's story? Is it about milk, about business, about psychology? No, it's about something much deeper. It's about what happens when you refuse to accept injustice, when you believe in people others have forgotten, and when you build something not for yourself but for everyone. You just need courage, vision and a heart that beats for others. This is not just a story of milk, this is the story of a nation that refused to stay hungry. A story of farmers who became owners, a story of one man who could have left but choose to stay. And most importantly, this is a story that reminds us, real revolution don't happen in palaces, they happen in the villages. And that is the untold story of Amul. Thank you so much for watching the whole video. If this video hit you, please make sure like and subscribe the channel. I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.